few teams will gradually reduce the shot clock. I've seen a lot of success. You must prevail in a defensive-oriented match. As a member of the team, I didn't think I performed very well defensively. There isn't a doubt. I really am a product of my origins. Thus, I haven't forgotten them. Yes, I did. It will be time for me to continue on if I'm not apprehensive, and if I don't experience at least a little bit of the same self-doubt and anxiety I had when I first began playing. It keeps driving me, again and over. In my life, I've seen a lot. Even though I'm not a messiah, I've always tried to change things when a team hasn't succeeded. There's still a significant gap there, even though I sometimes thought, my gosh, you're in the highest tier. Some men give it their all every night. They play the game so well and offer so much that, to be honest, they don't get recognition for it. For athletes that earn a ton of money, it's fantastic. I'm just really competitive. For me as a player, this has undoubtedly been more than just a job. Los Angeles has produced some very amazing players, possibly the greatest of all time. For the sake of the franchise and the people, I wanted to win. This game, like any game, is mostly about confidence. You need to focus on only one opponent. And even now, even though I've heard the Star-Spangled Banner a lot, I believe it still has special meaning for me. A new kind of player has emerged as a result of the widespread use of dribbling, and it begins very early. To be honest with you, I don't like being recognized. The top players are expected to perform better during the playoffs. I missed a lot of games because during the peak of my career, a strong ability to sprint up and down the court is required. Having a guy in there with a high basketball IQ who can make the proper choice makes all the difference in the world. All that a shot is simply a lever. Coaches who were players in the league have a unique insight of how successful players played and who their coaches were. Furthermore, I think of myself as a tough talent assessor because I respect guys who can play both excellent defense and excellent offense. Although he was a fantastic player, Kevin Garnett wasn't Kobe Bryant. It demonstrates his faith in the coach's capacity to delegate authority when necessary. If you just work on the days you feel well, you won't get much done in life. I am in adoration of you. I find it depressing to see the lack of fan support for a talented team there. One thing I still struggle with is self-esteem. Do you understand what it means? I have two very distinct sides to me. People feel emotionally attached to such individuals because there is a specific quality about athletics that draws support from the public. My wife avoids me while the Warriors are playing. They are unable to compete with the superior squads. Other than the Lakers, I don't know anything. That's not how I feel. It hurt to miss out on games. If you're lucky enough to qualify for the playoffs, then it's more like a dash. Allowing an assistant to participate is a clear indication of a competent coach. That has always been a really complicated aspect of my life. You get so dependent on winning that you want it to last forever. However, you have to win in a different way on nights when you're against a strong defensive club. I've never seen a better player than him. I've been a terrible critic of myself for all my life. It's undoubtedly meant more to me than simply a job. And regardless of what they would have provided me, I would have walked out. You won't succeed if you don't believe you can. I appreciate being in the company of good people more than I enjoy winning. Thinking skills play a major role in all of it. I wonder in my heart whether they share my sentiments. To be a professional basketball player, you have to be more than a bit nasty. That's not who I want to be. In addition to playing for your team, you also play for the fans who come to the games. I've always wanted to work in a less than ideal atmosphere for whatever reason. You've completed this and that. In my perspective, I haven't taken any action. Every time you open a vehicle door, you do it the same way. I like keeping others in the dark. I would never remain in a situation where I thought I was the leader of the group and would appear good in your team media guide. Car doors are effective because they open and shut. When the ball misses the basket, I'm shocked. And a shot is. Statistics are undoubtedly useful tools, but I believe that there is more to it than that. At some point, you have to attempt to delve deeper into people, and at times, I find it to be heartbreaking. I was born into a family with strong patriotic beliefs, and my brother was slain in Korea. Furthermore, I was unwilling to waver from the standards I believe I had set for myself in this league, and more importantly, for our home supporters. I will remain till they bury me. It's a marathon, not the fastest race. I still identify very strongly as a West Virginian. It has to do with self-worth. They simply seem like they would make a fantastic combination, in my opinion. I've frequently pondered why I was never the Lakers captain. I'm devoted to ensuring Memphis has a championship squad, as they deserve it. To be honest, all sports suffer from free agency. I have always been a really stern critic of skill because I'm not likely to fall in love with a player who doesn't play hard every night and doesn't play the game on both ends of the court. I walk away from things when the time comes for me to do so. After everyone else gone, I would remain out there until I caught something for hours at a time. I was the star player and coach every time I shot the ball, and I always made the winning basket. I've seen several testing occasions. I just achieved my goal of competing. Kevin Durant has excellent ball handling skills. Many would be grateful to have made it through a lengthy career and been able to participate in as many finals as possible. I also detested missing out. I believe I ought to win every stroke. That strain must be in me. Now we have a game that calls for both adaptability and talent. My body, conscience, and intellect all tell me when enough is enough. I just detested it. I am aware that I could have played longer when I stopped the game. Oh please, please, please. People tell me I'm famous when they look at me. It goes without saying that scoring points is necessary to win games. I believe that I was also capable of playing at a very high level. You're excellent. Therefore, I'll respect you. But these guys are different. I do want to contribute, and I will leave if I am unable to do so. Just a strain in the hamstrings. I've reached the stage when you take stock of your life and contemplate. Once they're finished, you have to focus on the next one. The three-point line has had a huge impact on the game. We used to be told to play your own man, meaning that you were in charge of your own man. Coaches often act in such manner due to a lack of skill. Unless you're very excellent, the day of the big guy is unnumbered, but you definitely need to be more adaptable to play the game now. We speak about players from the past, individuals who could or couldn't play, and I find it absurd that people would even attempt to compare. Some of the things I accomplished as an executive and an athlete make me really proud. I was seldom happy with my performance. When I see successful individuals, I notice how composed, polished, and capable they are. I'm an ardent admirer, and sometimes I use bad words. We are really talented ball handlers. It's a common belief that you need to be on the winning team, the top squad. We don't have many guys that can play back to the basket, and the league is evolving. But my playing was not up to everyone's expectations. You shouldn't be around me if you don't want to win. I believe that true test-taking uncovers your true nature. The season is unto itself a beast. Unlike the house I grew up in and felt far from, the Lakers have been home to me. Everything is ready to go. It had no bearing on anything, and it's awful when you're unable to do that, especially for someone like myself. Michael Jordan, I hate to admit, is the player. I can't really tell you why, but there are usually 2 or 3 players who I find appealing. Next, solidify it with an excellent work ethic. You are able to go wherever and carry the ball. Additionally, if you were proficient and something of a ball hawk, you assisted everyone else. Every time I went fishing, I would make up that I would catch the largest fish. The basketball skills you possess now that you were not even able to have back then. I've never been like that. If I don't feel welcome, I'm going to leave. I visited a few times, but I always thought that no therapist could ever comprehend my unique suffering, and that in some ways, they were much worse than I was. The Grizzlies have received tremendous support from our community and our supporters, which made my choice to remain in Memphis simple. A big vacuum. From a defensive perspective, it's much more of a team idea now than it was during our game. Being a Gemini, I am. Sometimes, since I didn't like who I was, I would be so down while everyone else would be so high. You must have high standards. A player will put it on the floor and attack unless he's a catch-and-shoot kind of player. Years ago, I recall that if I had had the chance to quit the Lakers, I would have done so for one simple reason. I did not appreciate having an owner who was lying to me. I disagree that it benefits athletics, however. Whatever you can do to assist someone, in my opinion, is really vital, since many young people want to be athletes of all shapes and sizes, not just those who play basketball. Fear of not succeeding is the best motivator. Every night I would hate myself if we lost a game.